everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. Quite a few people had requested like gardening style or plant style videos. So today's video is going to be me sorting out all my house plants. So I brought them all in the dining room. Normally I would go outside into my little gardening area where my potting bench is, but I haven't yet sorted that out from winter. It's still quite messy and I've got a lot of outdoor stuff to do, which I'll probably do that in another video. So for now I'm going to do the indoor plants just on my dining table, and then I can hoover it up and clean up after. Also, I'm really sorry if the light keeps going and coming back. Like literally right behind the camera is a massive French door, and also the sun's there, so the sun keeps going in and out of the clouds. Also, it's echoey in here because it's my kitchen and dining room, and sometimes the boiler might go off. My video is going to sound different to what it normally does. So basically, over winter, most houseplants go dormant, or they don't grow as much, don't need watering as much, don't need as much care because it's winter, it's cold, like I said, they don't really grow much. So my plants have kind of been probably getting watered once every month, roughly. A couple of the other plants that dry up a bit quicker got watered more, but now that it's coming up to spring, it's getting warmer. My phone needs to go on silent. Yeah, it's coming up to spring, it's getting warmer, and all my plants need a good refresh. I tend to give them a trim where they might need to have some leaves cut back. This is also when I would do a bit of propagation if I felt like some plants I wanted more of them, or I wanted to propagate them. And I'll also repot them. So I've got my soil ready and I've got my perlite ready, and yeah, let's get this done. And just really quickly before I get started, I just want to say that I've been looking at the statistics of my videos on my channel, and it turns out that only 26% of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, and the other massive percentage, which is like 74 or whatever, aren't subscribed, which is madness. So if you do like my videos and you do watch them, it would help me so much if you did subscribe, and then if you are subscribed, hit the notification bell so that you get notified when I upload. And yeah, things like that really help people like me, who are really small creators, I guess I could call myself. It helps us know that people actually want to see our videos, and yes. So the first plant I'm going to start with is my devil's ivy, partly because it's my biggest plant, but also because it's the one that needs the most work. It needs a much bigger pot. Like, this pot is very small for a plant of this size. And I also have a nice new, what do you call these again? Support stake to go in the middle, and hopefully I won't have to change this again for a really long time, because it's quite stressful for a plant having to constantly change the supports, because you've got to like unpin them and like let them drop down. Yeah, so I'm going to show you how I would do this. I have changed the support stake on this twice before, I think. Yeah, twice, because the old supports are on other plants. I start by unpinning it, and it's pinned up with these little metal, I don't know what they're called, but little metal things. I'm going to do one vine at a time so that I can let the vine just drop down naturally without damaging it. We'll go, there's that one. And I'm going to be really gentle because, like I said, I don't want to break any of the leaves. Some of these will have grown quite twisted as well, like that one had like looped all the way around, whereas that I could probably pin that all the way up now, to be honest. Gently remove the stake, tap out the soil inside it. So I'm going to move that plant pot to one side now, and I'm also going to probably move the camera down a little bit so you can see. So this is the nice new pot. It's significantly taller. The reason I'm opting for a taller plant pot rather than necessarily just wider is because the roots aren't actually coming out from the bottom of this pot, which means that they're not overgrown. But I do need a taller pot for the support stake so that it doesn't keep falling over. So I'm going to give it a try and see if it fits nicely. I've got my house plant mix, and then I've also got some perlite. I've had this for ages, which is why it looks so dirty. And I'm going to mix like half and half into here, and then obviously I'll have the soil that's already attached to the plant as well. and that should keep it nice and healthy. The perlite is to help with drainage. They're like little, actually I don't know what they are, I'll find out. But they're like little white balls that you put in with the soil, and it helps stop the soil from clagging together and making it very easy for the water to drain out. So I'm just gently making space on the inside without damaging any of the main stems. Gently making space for the support pole. And I'm going to actually attach the stems to this while it's in this pot first, and then I can lift all of them out into this pot, if that makes any sense at all. I've also got a bit of string, which I'm just going to use to make sure that they are definitely secure and that they're not going to fall down. I'm going to gently bring it out of the pot. And see if it fits nicely in here, which it does, thankfully. Top up the remaining soil around the outside. There we go. Now my Devil's Ivy has a nice new pot that's big enough but not too big for it to end up getting waterlogged, big enough for the roots to grow downwards, and also tall enough for the stake to not topple over, because the thing with plants like these is that they can become very top heavy, so the next time I pot it on I might end up needing to put some stones in the bottom of the pot to keep it weighted down. That's an issue I've got at the moment with my big Monstera. As you can see, it's leaning because it's very top heavy. Anyway, he's ready to go back to his little home in the living room. Okay, so next is my Monstera. As you can see, this is quite a big plant and he is struggling. He's not staying up very well. He needs a really good stake. This stake's just way too short for him, and the pot's just not big enough. It keeps toppling over, and also his roots are starting to come out the bottom and start to twist around a little bit. So I've got him a nice big beastie pot. This is like an old outdoor plant pot. I'm going to use it for him for now. I don't really have many decorative pots. I don't really see the point in them because you've got to pot plants on like every year or two, which means you've got to constantly change the plant pot. And it'll get to the point where like you'll have plant pots that don't fit any of your plants, depending on how big or how small they are. So I just don't bother, I just leave them as they are, and I think they look quite nice. Anyway, so your Monstera is a bit different to the ivy. The other plant was vines, where the vine would like drop down naturally, but you've got to be really careful with these ones because obviously they will break. And also you get a lot of aerial roots, as you can see here, which you need to be careful with. You don't want to damage them. Well, some people do cut them off, but I don't want to because I know they're good for the plant. So I'm trying to think of how I'm going to do this. First I'm going to put a bit of soil in here. And I'm going to do the same method as before, half soil, half perlite. As you can see, these won't drop down that much. I can see that this stem is broken, so I'm going to just cut the broken one off him in the bin. Oh, you can see where a lot of the aerial roots have really twisted round. Which, I mean, it's not a bad thing. So, like the other one, I'm going to take some soil out the middle and try and get the stake down the centre without damaging any of the big roots. Hopefully this one's tall enough. So I'm leaving some of these leaves hanging down, partly because I think it looks nice. I like when monsteras kind of have that natural look, and also because I don't want to put too much weight in the centre on the stake pole, because it will just keep toppling. I'm going to use a bit of string to secure it even further. So now the hard part is getting it out of the pot safely, because it is a really big plant. So I'm going to try and tip it over. The problem is some of the roots have bound around the bottom of the pot. Give it a squeeze to try and loosen up the roots. There we go. Just quickly before I pop this in, I'm going to make sure that there's enough space. And then fill up the plant. There we go. Successfully potted on my monstera with a larger stake and a bigger pot. Wasn't this one, now in that one. And hopefully that can help the plant to continue to grow. Okay, so off camera I've just potted on my smaller devil's ivy. I didn't record it because it's literally the same as doing the other plant. It's literally just a smaller version of the plant. Yeah, so this one now has a bigger pot and a bigger stake. This one has a bigger pot and now it has a stake. It didn't previously because it was only a small monstera, but now it's getting bigger. And as you can see, sometimes monsteras can grow to just one side, like this one, like it's all there on that side and there's none on the other side, and that can make it topple over a lot more than like the other monstera, which kind of grows like on all sides. So what you need to do with the stake in that instance is like kind of tilt it slightly when you put it in the mud so it stays in that position, so that it counteracts the side that's heavier. And yeah, and this one's grown really well. This one has some lovely, lovely slits like that one. I'm not sure why I treat them exactly the same, but this one doesn't really have that many slits. Anyway, I'm gonna get on with the rest of the plants. Okay, so next I'm going to put on my dragon tree. He's been looking really sad, and I honestly think it's because he's in like quite a tiny pot for what he is. And I think his roots are quite bound. Yeah, he's not doing too well. So I'm going to give him a really nice big pot, mainly because I don't have many other pots left that are just slightly bigger than him. So when the roots are quite wound up like that, you can honestly just, you know, kind of play with them a little bit and then loosen them up. And that means when it goes into the new pot that they don't continue to grow that way. Okay, so a nice new big pot for my dragon tree. That looks so much better. Hopefully he grows. Because I feel like it just stopped growing, probably because he didn't have enough room. Okay, so next I'm going to do my fern. This poor guy was rescued from a garden centre. He was already looking worse for wear. And he's still not looking too great. I'm not sure if I maybe don't have enough humidity in this house, so I keep moving them around to see if I can find the best place for them, because these plants really like humid conditions. I'm gonna cut away like dead bits. My table looks so messy right now, like just mud everywhere. Can't wait to get the hoover out. So see, like this one for example, like this leaf, I don't know if you can see that from there, but it's not looking great. Like it's all crunchy and dried up. So ones like that I'm gonna cut off. And then I'm gonna give him a nice big pot. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm still quite a novice with plants, so I'm not going to sit here and claim like I know exactly what I'm doing. I don't know any of the technical terms or anything like that, or to be honest I don't actually know exactly what you're supposed to do to keep plants alive. All I know is my plants have been alive for a while now and they're doing okay. And this is purely just my routine of what I do when it starts to come to spring. I now have an awful lot of cleaning up to do, and there were a few plants that I didn't bother potting on or didn't need potting on because they hadn't outgrown their pot currently. I just did a new layer of peat around the top of the soil just to keep it fresh. I read somewhere that you're supposed to do that, so that's what I do. I've given all of my plants a really good drink. All the ones that are tropical based plants that like to be spritzed, I will give them a good spritz of water as well. Sometimes when it's really hot in the summer as well, I'll put my bigger plants in the shower and I'll just leave the shower running on them for a while. That helps keep the leaves nice and hydrated. They really like stuff like that, the more tropical plants. So that's things like the Monstera deliciosa, the dragon tree, the devil's ivy. They're more tropical plants. I gave them a good feed of houseplant fertilizer. I'll show you which one I used actually. This is the indoor plant food that I've been using for a while now. It's about halfway down. This has lasted me ages. I think this has lasted me probably coming up 2 years this year, because you don't need to use a lot at all unless you've got a ridiculous amount of houseplants, and I do have quite a lot to be fair. But yeah, this has lasted a really long time. You only need to fertilise your plants roughly once a month from spring to summer, and then you don't need to fertilise your plants usually in autumn and winter, but it depends on the plant, so please look into what plants you've got and their care instructions, because I don't want to be responsible for any plant deaths. So yeah, this is the one I've been using, and like I said, the houseplant compost mix that I've been using is the Miracle Grow houseplant potting mix. It says it's premium. To be honest, I didn't want any of my plants to die accidentally from using the wrong soil or anything, so I basically looked at reviews and I saw some houseplant mixes had bad reviews saying that it came with pests and other nasties. So I think, me personally, it's worth paying the extra couple of quid for a better quality soil, rather than killing off all your plants, which are quite expensive to buy as it is. The perlite that I use is the Wilkinson's one, and this has lasted me like 2 years as well. You don't go through a lot of that, and like I said, it helps with aerating the soil, it helps with drainage, and oh yeah, it says here that it prevents soil compaction, which is when the roots grow so much and the soil gets like stuck and compacted and you can't like break it apart when you pot it on. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like down below and leave a comment. Likes and comments help me to know which videos I need to make more of, so if you do like this content, that will help me be like, yeah, I should make more plant videos. And like I said earlier in the video, nearly 80% of my viewers aren't even subscribed to my channel, so if you could subscribe to this channel, that would make me so happy. And yes, I'm gonna go enjoy the sun now. It's super sunny outside. I'm gonna go for a nice walk with the dogs, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.